So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 6th, 2021 meeting of the Middleton, the Middleton Select Board. How's that? And want to remind everyone this meeting is being recorded and is also being streamed live. You're welcome to join the Zoom meeting, and you'll find that information on the town website. So why don't we move right on to item number 1, which is an explanation of the warrant number 2121 from the town administrator, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the warrant tonight, on payroll side, we have $744,757. On bills payable side, much smaller than what we saw last couple of warrants. I think were quite substantial. The payroll deductions this week, $90,968. About halfway down in the bills payable section under DPW, $66,620 for a new vehicle for the DPW. That is the 1-ton truck. They ended up getting an F550 truck, and then also $15,300 for work at the front entrance of the cemetery. That's work that was appropriated, or money that was appropriated around 2014 or 15, I think.
15.
Yeah, shortly before I came into town. So,
well, I'm glad they got the money out of an ATM.
So Paul and Kenny have been working on that along with students from Essex Tech. So nice to get them involved and helping us out. And then a little bit further down, $48,744 for purchase of power for MELD. And Sarah Wood has reviewed this and asks the board's endorsement.
Okay,
move to accept as presented.
Okay. Thank you, sir. In a second. So we have a motion and a second. And if I could ask Tim, if you could take a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Prentakis.
Yes.
Mr. Creston. Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. The next item will be take a motion to accept the minutes of the open session from March 23rd, 2021.
I'll make such a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. And once again, Tim, if you could take a roll call vote.
Mr. Prentakis.
Yes.
Mr. Creston. Yes. Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself.
All right, thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Minutes accepted. Mr. Sheehan, if you would please, with updates and reports.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So just a couple of items tonight for residents watching the development of the operating and capital budgets for the coming fiscal year. This Thursday, April 8th, is the culmination of the joint meetings between the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, meeting at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Not a lot outstanding. There were a couple of holdover items. We did a little bit additional work on the primarily on the revenue side of things, a little bit on the expenditure side of things. And anybody that wants to participate in that or watch that meeting can get the Zoom login information off the town's website at middletonma.gov. If you go down into the calendar and click on the calendar on the agenda for that date, you can get the Zoom information off of that. So, and this is for the operating budget and the capital budget for the year that begins on July 1, 2021. The Master Development Planning Committee is ramping up its public presentations for the facilities project at 105 South Main Street. They'll be back. I expect they'll be looking to get on the agenda with this board again in probably early May. To give an update of where things are. They were just before Christmas, and they've continued to work and fine tune the presentation and the information that they've got. They're meeting again with the Master Plan Committee next week. They're meeting just with themselves tomorrow at 5 p.m. and with the Master Plan Committee next week, and they've got other meetings coming up. So all the meetings are going to be held via Zoom, and all the Zoom login information is available on the various agendas that are again on the town's website. Brief update on COVID. We continue to see good numbers of people getting vaccinated throughout the state. And just a reminder that our public health officials really encourage everybody to get vaccinated. That's the quickest way to herd immunity or something like herd immunity, and the best way to stay healthy and protect against COVID-19. So, and then I see Barbara Pacelli, the town moderator, has just jumped on. The board members will remember that Barb has issued a number of continuances of the previously or originally scheduled January 28th, 2021 town meeting. Those were issued because of obvious concerns about COVID and the ability to actually gather in person and gather particularly in the wintertime. So she has informed me that she's going to be promulgating another continuation of that town meeting. And then I think, Barbara, there'll be one more.
I have to look at the calendar just to confirm dates, but I'll continue issuing the declarations of recesses and continuances to carry us through until June 5th, if that conforms with what the board wants me to do.
And that is all I have for updates this evening. I don't know if the board has any questions for me or questions for Barb, but that's all I've got for the evening.
Anyone? No. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Now, as we always do, we'll move on to the second item on the agenda, which is to open it up to a member of our community for the public comment period. I'm not sure if I think I recognize everybody listed, but if anyone in town as a resident is more than welcome to join us every select board meeting, and we provide time at each one for a public comment. And without anyone present, then I will move on to number three. Number three will be to review and sign bond application anticipation notes in the amount of $3,745,000 for acquisition of master planning of 105 South Main Street. Mr. Sheehan.
So we did a, working with our financial advisors, Hilltop Securities, last week we did a bond auction, a ban auction, and we received 5 bids. The best, most advantageous is from Oppenheimer, and the effective rate of that, or the net rate, is 0.2456%. So a little less than than what we did last year when we borrowed for the vehicles. I think that was 0.307 or something along those lines. So, you know, among friends, let's just call it 0.25%. So, so pleased with the results, and pleased also with just the general level of interest among the competing firms out there. Belinda Young has certified the award in the. I don't know if I included it in the packet. Tanya, can you pull up the second of the attachments that I sent you?
Sure.
It is the motion, and I think the board can give it a so moved, and I think that would cover it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this bond anticipation note as described in the attached document.
Okay, very good.
I'll second.
A second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, and I can ask Tim Hooton for a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Prentakis.
Yes.
Mr. Cresta. Yes. Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself, yes.
All right.
Just a reminder for the members who haven't been able to get in yet, we have the paperwork here. So whenever you're able to get in, we'll get that, once we can get it signed, we'll get it back to Hilltop so that they can do the closing on the
And-
note.
Who was the second on that? I missed it. Tim, thank you.
Okay. All right.
I'll leave the paperwork with Belinda down in the treasure collector's office.
All right. We'll be in there tomorrow. All right, very good. So we made motion on that. All right, item number 4 will be the continued discussion of a location and date of the annual town meeting and town elections. I'm not sure who wants to lead us off in this.
Yeah, not really much to talk about here, Mr. Chairman. Just more of a reminder for the benefit of the public that the annual town meeting with the aforementioned special will be on Saturday, Saturday, June 5th, beginning at 9 a.m. And the town election will be the following Saturday, June 12th, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The town meeting will be on the soccer field behind 48 South Main Street. The town election at 143 South Main Street at the Fuller Meadow School. We're continuing to work on the logistics of all of that. And once we wrap up the budget on Thursday, we will start to put the book together and get that to print and get that out to folks. We haven't decided yet whether to mail the book as we have historically done, or do a one pager like we did last year, which worked well. But we do have a lot of items on the agenda this year, and a lot of important items on the agenda. So we'll be working through that in the next week or so, and we'll update the board on those plans as well. So nothing else other than that, unless the moderator or the clerk have anything to add.
Anything at all? No? Okay. All righty. June 5th for the town meeting and June 12th for the elections. Thank you. Number 5 is see if we can vote to include a debt exclusion question on the annual town election ballot. Because it is on the annual town meeting article. So,
right. So this is just the statute requires that the board provide written notice to the town clerk of a ballot question. And so this is the form of that. This is the form of the question. We've run this by our bond counsel to make sure that it is in the proper form. It's a little different because it's different, and it's very narrowly prescribed under the statutes for Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion and override questions. So bond counsel has blessed that, and the language that is in the warrant and is also in the memo that's in your packet is the language that we will forward to the town clerk.
okay. And sorry.
So yeah, just a motion from the board to forward that memo on to the clerk.
I would make so.
Okay. We have a motion, but I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. And if I could ask you, Tim, once again, for a roll call vote.
Mr. Prentakis. Yes. Mr. Preston.
Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Very good. Motion carries unanimously. And as we stated, this is a ballot question that's mandatory by law as a result of the debt exclusion article on the annual town meeting. Both have to have both. Can't have one without the other. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. On item number 6 is to approve the Class 2 annual license renewal for Roberts Motors up on North Main Street. Who do we have here? If anyone received?
Nobody here. Not expecting anybody for this item. This is a renewal.
This is just renewal. Okay.
Rob Malerba, the owner, didn't get his paperwork in right away when we did the renewals back in December. So just tying up a loose end here. So
Very
just
good.
a motion to renew.
Sure.
Has he been operating without a license since January 1st?
I think he had shut down.
Okay.
I'll make such a motion.
A motion, I'll take a second.
Second.
Second, thank you. With a motion and a second, I'll ask Selectman Hooton for a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Prentakis. Yes. Mr. Cressman.
Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself. Yes.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Malerber has his license renewal for Class 2 motor sales. Item number 7 will be, let's discuss, I was hoping that maybe we could go past number 7 here and give it a little more thought. I think we have some other additional information that will be provided to us shortly, if I'm not mistaken. So,
I make a motion, we put it on following meeting.
okay,
I
thank you.
second that.
Motion and a second. If you
I didn't hear that. What was the motion?
My motion, is put it on for next meeting.
Put it on for next meeting. Okay,
Actually,
thank you.
Not the joint meeting with the finance.
No.
The next regular meeting.
Okay.
April 20th.
And the second was who?
Brian.
Brian. Okay, so Hooten Cresta. Very good. Thank you.
What a team.
There you go. All right, and Tim,
Prentakis.
as you do so well, thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Prentakis. Yes. Mr. Cressman.
Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes,
And myself.
thank you very much. So we will take that up with some additional information on our next meeting. Number 8 is review and a vote to appoint the following to the Recreation Commission. I guess I'll read them all together. So we have Michaela Garagosian Anderson for a term through June 30th, 2023. Jennifer Pavensky for a term through June 30th, 2022. And Michelle Criasi for a term through June 30th, 2022. As always, we want to thank everybody for their cooperation and volunteering for these things in times. It's always so hard to get people to volunteer. So if I could get if there's no other discussion, I could ask for a motion to
move to appoint all 3 for the term specified.
Thank you,
Second.
sir. We have a motion and a second. If it could, Tim, with a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Prentakis.
Yes.
Mr. Cressman.
Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes.
And myself.
All right, motion carries unanimously, and again, with thanks to those residents for their contributions. Next, I don't have a number here, but did I go over? No, so we'll need to take a vote to accept a grant in the amount of $14,705.88 from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health through the Metropolitan Area Planning Council for local health crisis response costs associated with COVID-19. If I
I
could get
will
a,
make such a motion.
thank you, sir, in a second.
Second.
I'll second. It's always
All
a
right.
pleasure to receive money.
Yes, it is. All right, so if you would, Tim, let's a roll call vote, please.
So, Mr. Prentakis.
Yes.
Mr. Cressman.
Yes.
Mr. Cassiotis.
Yes, sir.
And myself.
All right, and again, yes, with thanks. As Costa said, always good to get money. All right, well, I don't know if there's anything other new business or anything or topics anyone needs to bring up at all.
I just have a quick one.
Yep.
I know Andy knows, but Paul's deciding whether we're having the Chief Will's Day in the end of June this year. If anybody has any ideas, feel free to contact him. I know Andy's checking to see what the surrounding communities are. Again, I think COVID-wise, it's probably will be okay, but if they restrict the numbers, I just think it's just not a doer. So just if you have any ideas, contact Paul Rich.
Any thought of moving it until late summer?
That's the options. Again, those are the things that people can say or whatever, but
Yeah, I'm hoping we can move it and not have to kind of cancel yet another year of activities. If we can do it and it's safe, God, it would be great for the town.
Sure would.
Yes, it would.
well, feel free to email Paul.
Okay. That's it. I can't think of anything else.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Okay, then we'll adjourn for this evening. Want to thank everybody for their time and again, we'll be meeting with the Finance Committee, the Select Board on this Thursday at 7 o'clock. You can get the information on that and view it online from the town's website. Thank you, everyone, and good night.